In recent months, one of the most controversial and polarizing topics on Americans' minds has been President Trump's decision to sign an executive order known as the travel ban. California's response was to join a handful of states that are exploring the idea of becoming sanctuary states. What is your stance on California becoming a sanctuary state, and what actions are you prepared to take within CD7 to support your view?
Hello, Carlos again. So going back to this touchy subject, my parents, they're both immigrants. So I'm all for helping those dreamers, those students here at Mission, that they're frightened because of the Trump administration. They're afraid that they're going to be separated from their families. So as your council member, I'll make sure to lobby with the governor, with the senator, with the assemblyman, whoever it takes to make sure that ICE doesn't come into our district, especially work with local law enforcement. I found out that Charlie Beck and chief of sheriff department, they said that they're not going to listen to the Trump administration. So what I could promise you guys, if I become your council member, I'm going to fight with you guys, and I'm going to make sure that they don't come to our district and frighten our communities. Thank you very much.
Hi, Bonnie Corwin again. When Trump did his executive order, my first question was, I thought he was going to do it the first day. That was the first thing that came into mind. The second thing that came into mind was that it was very poorly executed. It caused a lot of trauma. It caused a lot of problems with people coming into the country and deciding whether to go out. The third thing is that when that came out, there was an executive order to protect the interior of the United States. I don't remember the exact name of it. But because of this one that went out, it got ignored. Okay? That is the one that most people need to pay attention to in District 7 and the rest of the city. And the way that they need to pay attention to it is they need to know their rights. And there are educational programs out there so they know what their rights are. And I'm also hearing from many attorneys that really the only way you are protected is to become a citizen. But number one, you have to make sure you know what your rights are in case someone like ICE does invade your home. You need to know what to do and how to take care of it. So I'm all for immigration in a legal way, but also have realized that a lot of people don't understand what their rights are. And that's the most important thing. Know what your rights are and have a plan in case someone does come to your door.
So, bottom line, I am the only immigrant running. What does that mean? I came here when I was 15 years old, not by my wish. You can't say no to your parents. The chancla will get you. Honestly. So this is the bottom line. I came here, I went to San Fernando High School, graduated class of 1992. Yes. And then when I graduated, Pete Wilson became our governor. He was the Donald Trump of our era. And took the right for me to go to college, the right for me to go get medical services, the right for me to drive or have an ID. You have no idea what life is. Having those just not having an ID makes you a criminal here in California or anywhere in the United States. So I understand and that's why I became a U.S. citizen. And that's why I'm running today. That's exactly the reason why I'm running today. Because that's the only way you go through the process. I had to stay in Mission College for 10 years waiting for AB 540 that allowed me to transfer to CSUN. And once I was transferred, I haven't stopped. And the next level, once you become a U.S. citizen, run for office and teach people and do it right. So I actually, thank you. On my own time, I go volunteer and I translate for other people. I take people in wheelchairs become U.S. citizens. It's like there's no other way. If you are not a U.S. citizen, technically, legally, the Constitution does not apply to you. So those are the good side and the bad side. Because also, even I was on the other side where you have a car accident and someone doesn't have an ID, doesn't have a license. You're on your own as well. So thank you.
We are a land of immigrants. And in fact, that's the very fabric that makes us so special, is all the different cultures that come together with the same common desire for liberty, democracy, free speech, freedom of religion. So it's not the immigration that's a problem. It's obviously the way we've handled it. We've got this thing such a mess right now. I'm going to sidestep the question, as others did, and talk right to the immigration problem that I think is most threatening to us here, and that's the Hispanic folks. And it's kind of ironic that if you just looked around the world, you said, what kind of people would you want to become citizens? They're exactly the kind of people we would want. They're hardworking people, they're family people, they're religious people. It's the mess that we've got ourselves in separating the dual societies. The past amnesty programs that didn't really have people become citizens has failed us miserably. I'm totally against amnesty, but I'm totally against punishing these people. At least all these people had a good reason for coming. I'm not sure why we let it happen 11 million times. But that's the reality, and these folks are our people. When I was a kid, I remember we were 42% Hispanic in LA. These are the people I've grown up with. And to have them living under the risk and the threats that they're living in is absolutely inappropriate. But what I would do is, number one, you got to close the border. You can't help anybody until you close the border. After you close the border, I would do what I call in-place processing. And I would want to know, what do you want to be here for? You want to be on a student visa? You want to be on a tourist visa? Do you want to be on a work visa? We certainly ought to be able to work that out. The Israelis can work that out with the Palestinians, and we can't seem to work that out here. And then I would do a cursory review, just like I would as if you were in your own country. And we'd do a preliminary review, and if you pass the review, then I put you in the queue for that status. If you don't pass the review, and then one thing we got to remember, we want successful immigration. So this shouldn't be a witch hunt or a way to get rid of people at all. We need to get the criminals out. If we got threats to the United States, we need to get them out as well. But the goal needs to be bring us back as one society, one group. We're all Americans. Thank you very much.
Open-ended question number 6. In raising standards of living by increasing economic opportunities, businesses are an integral part of Sylmar's community. If you're elected, what actions would you take to bring high-quality businesses to Sylmar and to support our current businesses as well?
Attracting new businesses. It's very important to the economy and also to our workforce. But one of the things that I've noticed by going door to door, and also I own a business, I actually provide temporary employee services to not only the city of Los Angeles, but also to private businesses too. And what we realize a lot is that it's the skill sets that the employees that live in the communities do not have, and where we have failed with that. When I had one person who came for an interview and I asked, can you type? And they said, oh yes, I could type. Just with their thumbs. They couldn't type a regular keyboard. And they thought they were going to get a job. And I felt bad for that person. But that's the thing we have to do, is we got to get the skill sets up. Because when you look at Silicon Beach, that the mayor totes, if you notice, most of the employees they have are H-1B visa. And the Google and all the others say that, well, we don't have employees here in America that could supply the skill sets they need. Why are not colleges actually providing the skill sets for our students when they graduate out of college to be able to enter right into those jobs? So that's one of the big issues. And the other is just regular, simple, soft skills that a lot of high school students, when they come out of high school, do not have, and employers can't employ them. Or if they do, it's always at minimum wage. And we can't do that anymore, because there are children that come out of high school that they can't go to college. It's not that they don't want to go to college, but because of their family situation, they can't go to college because maybe they're from a single parent family and they have to go directly to work right out of high school. So they have to get a job. And if they don't have the skill sets, how are they supposed to get up the ladder to be able to get a better job and better job? So we have to work a lot harder with that. Thank you.
As someone who worked for Mayor Reardon, helping to revitalize a number of economic corridors throughout the city of Los Angeles, I'm someone who has the practical experience to get this done for our community. As someone who served on the Board of Public Works and helping many of our small business owners here locally, like Vivian Hartman of Buffalo Bruce's, who didn't have the infrastructure that she had been crying to the last 2 city council members for assistance with, her cries went ignored until she met me while I was on the Board of Public Works and helped to redo the entire sidewalk and curb and gutter in an area that had been chronically flooding her business. This is the type of response that our community is deserving of, and our local businesses have long suffered through the lack of representation at City Hall and our local elected officials. As someone who has had the practical experience of actually not only helping to mitigate a lot of the problems that many of our business owners have faced, I have helped them create a pathway through the permitting process to help accelerate them getting into day one business getting their business open on day one, and that is the type of leadership that I would deploy in this area, because what we need here is a concierge service for our business community so that they can navigate City Hall effectively and create those local jobs that we want to see happening for our youth and the members of our community. I am someone who has done this as someone who has worked both on the Board of Public Works and working for the mayor in order to achieve that, and I will continue to do that in my role here on the Los Angeles City Council, should I be honored with your support. My name is Monica Rodriguez. I'm number 63 on the ballot, and I look forward to communicating with you more after this forum. Thank you.
Again, my name is Mark Reed, and as a person who was in business management until I was 26 and bought out my first company at 26 years old and continued to have 4 other companies as well, the question is how do you attract new businesses to this area? Monica very well addressed the issues of City Hall and how difficult it is to start a company here in Los Angeles. It's near impossible to go downtown City Hall and try to start a business. Not only that, there's no funding anymore. The banking industry has dried up all the money, so you can't get funding for it. There is no community banks. But specifically to Sylmar, we have to be proactive, not reactive, to the job market. Our country is going towards robotics. We have some very good engineering schools here. Look up in the sky here, I love this, I'm a builder. This engineering that went into this building here is phenomenal, phenomenal. But we need to take what's happening in the future where we're going to robotics, and that's exactly where this community is going. And we need a robotics school here. We need to be able to create a company here and attract companies here through NASA, through the Army, the military, whatever. We need to attract it here because this is where it's going. And if we can't be proactive and look towards the future and do this, it doesn't matter what you graduate with. I've met so many college graduates in the LA area, and the only jobs that are offered to them is retail management. They're overqualified for that. But we need to bring manufacturing back here. We need to have innovative ideas, and robotics is where it's going. We have the workforce here. We really have a highly educated and trained workforce here. And this is where you need to be proactive. Forget what you've done in the past. Where are we going in the future? That's where we're going, and that's what I would attract back to CD7.
I wanted to cover a couple of things that I left off on the other presentation. I want to let you know that I'm also going to hire a homeless coordinator to deal with the issue. 10% of my salary is going to go back to deal with the issue of homelessness and gang reduction. And I'm also going to do something that nobody's ever done. On all the issues that you have on your handout, all 6 of them, I'm going to live in each community to deal with each particular issue so that I know what the community needs are. That's number one. Deal with the issue of business and how does it affect Sylmar. I have 4 degrees. Number one, I have a degree in computer science. I have a master's degree in business administration. I also have training in entrepreneurial program. I have not worked for anybody since 1980. I know how to create jobs. As a real estate broker, in dealing with commercial real estate, I know how to bring and attract companies to come to this area and hire people. For example, we have a downtown city hall that is underutilized here in Pacoima. I want to wire that building so that we all have access to the technology and start teaching our kids how to code applications and how to generate the new entrepreneurs that are coming down the pike. I also want to deal with an incubator system where we can bring people here and start businesses in Pacoima that will help Sylmar and Sanlatahanga and all the other 7 other communities. That's another idea. Okay, so then when we talk about the issues of technology, it's important that we use technology because that's where everything is going. We have to use technology. It's important. So if you look at other things that we can do, we have the best land use. I have technology that I can look at a piece of parcel that's commercial, and I can tell you what kind of business would be successful in that parcel, and then hire or look for a business that would occupy that space. I can also, because I'm a commercial broker and I have access to nationwide retailers, I can bring resources here. But again, it goes back to what I said earlier. If we don't deal with the issue of gang violence, we don't deal with the issue of homelessness, and we don't have transportation and housing, how are we going to attract the businesses that we need to have?
One of the biggest issues, I think, is the fact that we have all these empty storefronts. And it's just not attractive. It doesn't attract business, and we need to focus on that. One way I think that we can do that is by using discretionary funds and grants to try and attract local artists to put artwork in the empty storefronts and to keep them vibrant and alive. We need to clean up the obvious disrepair, fix the sidewalks and the streets, and add more proper lighting with activities like street fairs, Relays for Life, fundraisers, bring those into areas that are empty and use them for community events, staging areas for walkathons, etc. Another one of our big issues is parking in our district. There's just no parking for our businesses. So I would like to create a program where we share parking. That's being done sometimes, but we need to do that more. That'll invigorate our neighborhoods quickly. And also, I'd like to help create jobs by taking advantage of our environmental issues. Mission College, for example, doesn't have any sustainability classes. We need to do things like solar panel technicians, energy and water use technicians, wellness technicians, those things, and bring them to our satellite campus that's now opening in April in Southern Tahunga, which I'm thrilled about. But if we bring higher education and training, then we're going to be able to increase the businesses in our area. So remember, vote Christy Clark on March 7th, number 69 on the ballot, and I will always have your back. Thank you.
David Barron. The city of Los Angeles is known to be not a business-friendly city. So I have already lobbied and written that Garcetti repeal the city's business tax, which has been chasing employers, businesses out of town. And he did announce the repeal of the business tax soon after he was elected, but eventually he retracted that idea. And Rick Cole, who was his deputy mayor, numbers fella, he told me, he quit. And in the headlines, he wrote down that the city of Los Angeles is not designed to work. So besides, as your council member, I will continue making motions at city council, press conferences to inform the businesses that I do support businesses, to repeal the business tax, and also to request LAPD to bring in more patrol, more officers to deter crime, and also to request code enforcement officials. They can answer all your calls regarding more low-risk complaints. That'll give more time for LAPD to make a faster response. And then I would request daily services that we pay taxes on, daily services from sanitation and street services. That way they can monitor our streets from the illegal dumping and keep the streets cleaned so that our communities can at least look inviting and clean to businesses so they can come here easily. And then I will bring together a research and development marketing team to go out there and market and reach out for businesses to bring them into town.